Do you have a problem with his tweet?
I do.
Okay.
And I'm not joking here. I'm going to be very, very serious when I say this to Geno Smith, because I think he's got a lot of promise. I think to some degree it appears as if he's had a raw deal with some of the criticism that has been aimed in his direction. But I got a problem with his words on the NFL Network yesterday. And I'm going to tell you why. You look at this guy, he's passed for over 4,200 yards the last 2 years at West Virginia. We know his numbers. We also know what everybody's been saying about him, whether it's the Mel Kipers, it's the Todd McShays, or anybody else. They've basically been talking about what the teams are telling them. But he brings up ESPN. And allow me to come to the defense of my employers, which, by the way, is something I rarely do. I really feel the need to do so. But I want to read this to you, and I want to make sure that I make this very, very plain. Geno Smith, this is from Mr. Noraki from Pro Football Weekly. This is not ESPN. This is not anybody. Skip never said this about you. I didn't say this about you. Christian Fourier didn't say this about you. Mel Kiper didn't say this about you. Todd McShay didn't say this about you. Nobody said this about you but Pro Football Weekly. Allow me to read some of this stuff, right? Does not stand tall in the pocket, blah, blah, blah. We know about all of that. Not a student of the game. Nonchalant field presence. Does not command respect from teammates. Cannot inspire. Mild practice demeanor. No urgency. Not committed or focused. Marginal work ethic. Last time I checked, wasn't it Todd McShay who came on the airwaves and said he heard absolutely nothing along those lines? It was absolutely not true. And he felt that those particular comments were grossly unfair to you. But somehow you would mention ESPN. Why? See, this is the problem. When you sit here and you point your finger at folks, now you've deviated from the focus at hand. Now, all of a sudden, since you brought up ESPN, now I got to look at what ESPN actually said about you. It talked about your inconsistencies. It talked about your mechanics. It talked about your pocket presence. It talked about those things that doesn't speak to your character. It speaks to your football skills and what you will do on the next level. Now you have brought attention back to where it needs to be, but for all the wrong reasons. And that's my problem with him. You are an African-American quarterback that had these things said about you, and you ignore that to point a finger at a network that said nothing along those lines about you. You have now diluted Jarrett Bell's column in USA Today, who came to your defense, me and what I said in defense of you. You did all of that because you did something that Mr. Noraki basically accused you of doing, not doing your homework. This is the person you should have had a problem with when you were talking on the NFL Network the other day or yesterday. Not us. That's all I have to say.
What do you have to say?
Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
As far as the tweet goes, I was just looking at the tweet itself. And the only thing that stood out to me was how he says the experts saying that he can't be an NFL quarterback. I took it a different way. I took it as a guy. Like, nobody's saying he can't be an NFL quarterback. We're just kind of not sure how well he'll do at the next level. I mean, this is a guy who's probably going to be the first pick. So regardless of what the draft class did last year, you can't really worry about that.
I mean, the first quarterback picked.
Yeah, he's probably first quarterback pick in the draft. I mean, I think these quarterbacks this year are comparing themselves, and they're kind of feeling slighted a little bit that they're not getting as much shine and as much attention as last year's quarterbacks with Andrew Luck and RG3, Ryan Tannehill, and Russell Wilson. Phenomenal class. Okay, that comes around once, every 10 years. So his criticism is warranted. And this is what happens in the draft. We look at everything. Now, and I went back and looked at his games. I went back and looked at what other people were saying. I saw Dana Holgorsen 2 years ago when he first took the job at West Virginia, and everything he said about Geno Smith was nothing even close to what these reports said as far as his his work ethic. He's not really a great weight room guy, but I don't know many quarterbacks that are, other than Tim Tebow or Brady Quinn. Guys that are just they're just jacked up like that. Most of them aren't. You know, but what he is a big-time mental gym rat junkie when it comes to watching film. Yep. And that's what Dana Holgorsen talked about when I talked with him 2 years ago, before he was even thought about of being being the number one quarterback drafted. So as far as the tweet goes, I get it. It's a little early. I would like to see this after the draft. You know, like, listen, I'm going to prove my critics wrong. But it's like, listen, you know, these guys, they're knee-jerk reactions with their cell phones and, you know, wanting to get the word out and, you know, calm people down and, you know, and show what they're made of. You know, it's fine with me. I get what you're saying. I appreciate it and I agree with you. But wait till after the draft for this one.
I am with both of you on this one. And I especially liked what you said, because this is a broadside shot at all the so-called experts who say that I can't be an NFL quarterback. Show me more than one. I know one, and even that one, and boy, we're giving him a lot of attention here, but Nolan Nawaki, Pro Football Weekly, okay, he didn't say he couldn't play NFL quarterback. He's got him as a top 50 pick, which would put him in the second round, just the way a lot of the expert, I think Todd and Mel both have him as sort of a low first, second round grade that they've given to him. Yeah. So let's be clear about this.
What you're saying.
Nobody said that he can't play NFL quarterback. In fact, show me an expert who doesn't have him as the top rated of this batch. Now, is this batch a pretty average batch? Yes, which led John Elway 2 days ago to say, I'm glad I don't need a quarterback this year because I wouldn't want to pick one of these. And you and I have talked about this. I keep having to try to talk myself into all of these quarterbacks, into Matt Barkley, into Tyler Wilson, into Geno Smith. I like them all. I don't love any of them. I can't put my reputation on the line. This guy's going to be an NFL star. I'm not sure about Geno. I have my reservations. But would I draft him in the second round? Yes, I would.